This man was missing an eye, bit his nails down to nothing, showed up to political meetings in a bathrobe, sometimes nothing underneath.
Huh?
Foreign diplomats described him as a slob, a mess, completely unserious. And yet, he seduced the most powerful woman on earth, made her write him over 1,100 love letters. She secretly married him, made him co-ruler of Russia, and when he died, she collapsed so hard doctors had to bleed her just to calm her down. This is how a broke, one-eyed weirdo became the most indispensable man in Russian history, and what his bizarre strategy can teach you about attraction. Before we get to the spicy stuff, who were these people? Potemkin was chaos in human form. At university, he got so obsessed with theology and Greek that he won the gold medal, then immediately got bored and dropped out to join the army. Just walked away from academic glory because he felt like it. He did impressions so good that entire rooms cried laughing. His impression of Catherine, he performed it to her face, mocking the Empress of Russia to the Empress of Russia. Most people would be executed for that. She thought it was hilarious. And Catherine? She wasn't just powerful. She was arguably the most intelligent monarch in Europe, corresponded with Voltaire, wrote legal codes, and spoke 6 languages. Men, they bored her. She went through favorites like other people go through socks. She later said she picked Potemkin over a handsome, wealthy rival because Potemkin was the most comical and amusing character of this iron century. Not the hottest, not the richest, but the most entertaining. Keep that in mind. It explains the audacity of what comes next. The year is 1762. Catherine just pulled off the coup of the century. Her husband, Peter III, was Emperor of Russia and absolutely terrible at being a ruler. He loved toy soldiers more than actual governing, insulted the army, alienated the church. So Catherine had him arrested, took his throne, and declared herself empress. 8 days later, Peter was dead, officially from sickness. Unofficially, let's just say it was convenient timing. Now she's emerging to review her troops for the first time as sole ruler. Hundreds of soldiers, the entire court watching, history being made, and 22-year-old Sergeant Potemkin, a broke nobody, barely ranking, spots something no one else notices. Her uniform is missing a sword knot. It's a small decorative piece, but without it, she looks incomplete. Basically the 18th century equivalent of toilet paper, stuck to your shoe at prom. He makes a decision that could end his career, or his life. He breaks formation, gallops up to the Empress of Russia uninvited, and offers her his own sword knot. Bold. But here's where it gets suspicious. His horse then refuses to leave her side. Just stands there, blocking the procession, while the whole army watches this random sergeant next to their new empress.
I owed my entire career to a fresh and disobedient horse.
Sure, buddy. The horse just happened to do that. Totally not trained. Lesson number 1. The disobedient horse. Manufacture your accidents. Here's the psychology. The best opportunities don't look like opportunities. They look like coincidences, like fate. Potemkin didn't ask for an audience with the Empress. He created a situation where she had no choice but to notice him. It worked. Catherine remembered him, promoted him, twice, but they didn't get together for another 12 years. Why? Because Catherine already had a boyfriend, Grigory Orlov, one of the brothers who helped her pull off the coup. The Orlov family ran the court. 5 brothers, all military, all violent, all very protective of their access to the Empress. They noticed Potemkin getting a little too friendly with their meal ticket. Legend has it they invited him to a friendly game of billiards. What happened next wasn't friendly. They beat him so badly with pool cues that he lost an eye. Some say it got infected, some say they took it directly. Either way, message received. Now, most people in this situation would do one of 2 things: challenge Orlov to a duel out of pride, or give up entirely out of fear. Potemkin did neither. He disappeared. He left the court completely, joined the army, went to fight in the Russo-Turkish War. And for 12 years, he built himself into something undeniable, a legendary military commander, a strategic genius, a man whose name was spoken across Europe. Meanwhile, back at court, Grigory Orlov got comfortable, lazy, started cheating on the Empress openly. She found out and dumped him. Then she tried another guy, boring. Then another, also boring. In 1774, she wrote Potemkin a letter, asked him to return. He came back, not as a sergeant, not as a nobody. He returned as Lieutenant General Potemkin, war hero, the most talked about man in Russia. And this time, there were no Orlov brothers standing in the way. Lesson number 2, retreat to advance. Disappear until you're undeniable. He didn't chase her for 12 years. He didn't beg. He didn't scheme at court. He left, became exceptional, and let time do the work. When he returned, he wasn't pursuing her. He was being summoned. Completely different power dynamic. Within weeks, they were together. Within months, she secretly married him. And then, it got weird. Their romance was intense. Over 1,100 love letters survive. She called him her twin soul, her golden pheasant, praised his elephantine equipment. Yeah, she was not subtle. But after about 2 years of this passion, they stopped being exclusive. And here's the twist. They didn't break up. They negotiated. Catherine was the empress. She had needs. She would take younger lovers. That was the deal. But here's where Potemkin's genius kicks in. He didn't fight it. He didn't sulk. He didn't issue ultimatums. He personally vetted her new boyfriends. He picked them, introduced them to her, controlled who got access, made sure none of them were smart enough or ambitious enough to threaten his position.
Can you dance? Good. Speak French? Excellent. Any plans to overthrow me or influence imperial policy? No? You're hired. Next.
Let that sink in. Her new boyfriends were approved by her ex-boyfriend, who was still her secret husband, who was also running half the empire as her most trusted advisor. She even wrote him thank you notes for finding her good lovers. This is real. This happened. Lesson number 3, partner, don't possess. Share power to keep power. Most people try to lock down relationships through jealousy and control. It almost never works. Potemkin understood something deeper. If you try to cage someone powerful, they'll resent you. But if you make yourself essential, genuinely irreplaceable, the relationship becomes unbreakable. And he was irreplaceable. This wasn't just about romance. Together, they expanded Russia more than almost any rulers in history. He annexed Crimea for her, built the entire Black Sea Fleet from nothing, founded cities that still exist today. Historians called him Tsar in all but name. The pretty young boyfriends, they came and went, rotated through like seasonal decorations. Potemkin was permanent. In October 1791, Potemkin was traveling back to meet Catherine when fever overtook him. He was 52 years old. His last words, "Forgive me, merciful Mother Sovereign." When the news reached Catherine, she collapsed. Completely. Couldn't speak, couldn't stand, fainted multiple times. Doctors had to bleed her just to bring her back to stability.
My pupil, my friend, almost my idol. You cannot imagine how broken I am.
They'd known each other for nearly 30 years, partners in every sense, for 17 of them. She'd had plenty of lovers in that time, young, handsome, uncomplicated men, but none of them mattered like he did. She ruled for 5 more years after his death, took more favorites, kept working. But people who knew her said something was gone, a light, an energy. Whatever it was that Potemkin brought out in her, that was over. A one-eyed weirdo in a bathrobe had made himself so essential, so irreplaceable, that the most powerful woman in the world never fully recovered from losing him. So what can you actually take from this? 1. Manufacture your accidents. The best moves don't look like moves, they look like fate. 2. Retreat to advance. Sometimes the winning strategy is to disappear, level up, and let them summon you back. 3. Partner, don't possess. Make yourself essential, not through control, but through value.
All it takes is one disobedient horse, and the audacity to believe you belong next to an empress.
Thank you for watching. For more stories like these, hit subscribe.